Amen.
What would you say to the recent uprise of British nationalism, which is closely tied into cultural Christianity, and that being in response to the refugee crisis in this country?
Yes, so we've got there's been a number of different things that have led to this kind of movement that we can call the rise of cultural Christianity in this country. And that cultural Christianity is very closely interfaced with nationalistic movements and patriotic movements. The things that led to it, I think, are one, the lockdown, which got people asking the right kind of questions because they didn't have distractions. Two, was the trans ideology and the way that we all witnessed how malevolently it went after children and tried to start immediately sexualizing children. And then three, the Palestine pro-terrorist protests and the mass migration. These four things have shaken a lot of people, and they've woken a lot of people up, either collectively or maybe one issue more than another individually. And depending on how people have come into this, depends upon, how cultural their Christianity is. And it's created a sense in which a lot of people in the UK are now asking the question, who am I? What's my identity in this melting pot? What's my identity? And in the midst of those questions, a lot of people are grabbing hold of Christianity, because you can't look 2 minutes into British history without encountering the influence of Christianity. And if you do an hour's worth of study, you realize that Christianity starts to permeate absolutely everything about what it is to have lived on these islands. So with the rise of this cultural Christianity, we, the church, have an opportunity, because people have found themselves in an orbit around our faith. And we should seize upon that opportunity, not have a puritanical reaction and go, well, you're not a real Christian, so therefore only come back and talk to me when you're a real Christian. I don't want to engage with you until you're genuine about saying Jesus is Christ is King. But rather to take that person who, for cultural reasons, is shouting at the top of the voice, Christ is King, and draw them into a deeper understanding of what they're saying, to draw them into discipleship in the Lord, rather than to reject that positive energy because it's not coming from a place of deep understanding, but to see it as an opportunity to draw someone in to a deep and meaningful faith. And the patriotic movement is filled with Christians. It's filled with Christians. It's filled with cultural Christians. It's an opportunity. We should cultivate it. We should work with it. We should build upon it. But we have to make sure that we guard ourselves from falling into the trap of being the servants of some kind of nationalism, rather than drawing the nation or the nationalists into being servants of Christ. Final point. Within the nationalist patriotic movement, there are genuine ethno-nationalists.
Yeah.
People who hate me because here I am in a multi-ethnic room, and I think I'm surrounded by my brothers and sisters, and they don't like me because I would rather say that St. Paul's belongs to all of you guys, despite the fact that some of you aren't English, than I would say that St. Paul's belongs to an English atheist.
Yeah.
And the ethno-nationalists hate that, because they think that, white people built it, English people built it, so it's ours. And I say, no, it belongs to the church, so it belongs to all Christians. And we've got to guard against that, because whilst there's a threat from the alt-left, and whilst there's a threat from the Islamist, there is also an emerging, creeping threat from actual racists, real racists, not anyone who just doesn't have a left-wing opinion, but actual ethno-nationalists who are rearing their ugly heads once again.